It hurt. Oh, it's so sad. Ethan, it hurt here more than it hurt.
No, I know. I can tell. You sounded very sad about it.
So on the test, I can rewrite that question to become acceleration, velocity, and position, and you have to understand what to do, right? So let's look at another question. Do you remember the absolute value question? Like, I don't know, it's on your last test. Now, how do I write this question in terms of acceleration, velocity, and position?
It's the speed.
No. I can ask you, say, velocity is equal to 2x minus 3. Or velocity equal to absolute value 2x minus 3. I can ask you total distance. Can I ask you? I can even ask you 2x minus 3. Now ask you the total distance because you have to put absolute value on it. Because if you just 2x minus 3, it's going to cross x-axis, right? And if you don't have an absolute value on it, guess what? You mess up because the area is going to cancel each other out.
Area is just the same thing as the total distance.
But that's total distance. No. You got positive area and negative area. But because if you just graph, let's say 2x minus 3.
So if it's total distance, then it would just be the area of those things, the absolute value.
Yeah, so it'll be absolute value. So if I ask you total distance, it's gonna be, because definition of total distance is what? It's gonna be like this. But if you do it the other way, then the area is gonna cancel out. It's gonna be less. But if you do absolute value, it's gonna be more. And then how to do absolute value? Count the area triangles. Don't actually take the integral of that. Some of you guys want to do integral of that. That's too much work. So I can rewrite a question in so many ways that, you know, for me, it's like every time I'm writing a test, it's like a blank canvas. I have all those tools, and you guys are supposed to have all those tools too. And you guys can figure out what's on the test by understand, okay, do I understand what is meaning of the integral? Definite integral at least, right? So what's the meaning of velocity and the position? Distance, total distance. I can change the question however I want. And you guys gotta learn to adopt. Okay? Another question I'll for sure put on the test is this one. Don't worry about taking pictures. Somebody already taken picture, post online already. But this is a question I will post on. I will do it again. This is on your last test, believe it or not. Do you remember the question from last test? That has something to do with this one?
I do not remember a natural log question.
Yeah. The problem is natural log is not relevant.
Oh.
Think about.
Yeah, where you assume that it's just like.
You assume that's a function. You take integral of that function and you take a derivative of that function. You are going to go back to natural log. The only thing different is the chain rule with the fundamental theorem part 2. Which question on your last test is fundamental theorem part 2? Which question is that? Where the boundary was different? You can even ask my BC student. I put this question on 3 different tests. They learned it after the first test, though. Can I ask you average value? Absolutely. Well, instead of asking you average value, I can probably ask you average velocity. And if I give you a velocity equation, you have to take an integral, and you have to do average value of it. That's, you know, just concept, ideas. I can write any question I want to, as long as within the parameter I have. Do you guys know how to do this one? Catherine? Yeah, you should be able to do it. Actually, some people can probably do it without even lift a pencil. They see it. Where's Maddie? Oh. Maddie and Maddie. You're both wearing green.
It's all fine.
I'm confused.
Oh.
Wait, Madeline, you go with Maddie as well, right?
Wait,
So every time I call Maddie, you turn around. You're like, which Matt you talking about?
Mr. A.
I always call you Madeline because I thought your name was Madeline. Yes.
Is the answer just natural log of 1 minus t squared?
No.
Oh.
That's why you didn't do well on last test. Did you get it right on last test?
I think that's-
Yep. Then that's what you got to learn from your failure. You have to go back and make sure you know what you're doing.
That's gonna be 5.3.
I guarantee you, money is that's gonna be on the test. I have a dentist appointment. I missed it yesterday. What are you doing?
Trying to connect to the VPN socket. Oh, still.
Oh. Ooh. Wait, I didn't need a VPN to connect my stuff.
No, I'm gonna use. I still use Windows. I was trying to go to the. But can't open it.
Wait, iPad can have a WhatsApp app?
Like I use a browser one.
Browser won't work?
Yeah, WhatsApp web.
What?
Did you do this question?
It's the same. I'm doing it.
I'll tell you the answer. It's natural log of 1 minus sine square of x times cosine of x minus natural log of 1 minus x to the 4 times 2x.
We don't need a
That-
calculator
that
for
is-
tomorrow.
Huh?
Do we need a calculator for tomorrow?
No.
I'm confused.
I won't ask you anything about yesterday's homework because I feel like there's a lot of people don't have a calculator yet.
Can't the
I got a TI-84.
wait, yeah, can't the 1 minus sign.
Let's look at my
square
TI-84.
turn the cosine?
Yes.
I got that same app. I was trying to figure it out last night.
And then what was the-
Wait, what is that
what
now?
was the word after this?
TI-84.
I don't know what he said. I had it within my last.
That one's still a little bit off on actual TI.
Natural log of 1 minus x to the 4.
Natural log of 1 minus.
Sine square of x
I don't know.
times cosine of x
Uh,
minus natural log of 1 minus x to the 4 times 2x.
Why is
And there's something you can simplify it more
it,
too.
why is it minus?
Because upper bound subtract lower bound.
What's the answer?
I see. And then you
Huh?
you'd also further.
If I take a derivative, if I completely simplify, it's a little bit different. But if not simplify, it's gonna be natural log of 1 minus sine square of x times cosine of x minus natural log of 1 minus x to the 4 times 2x. But if I simplify a little bit more, it'll be natural log of sine square of x. Oh, natural log of cosine square of x, because 1 minus sine square equal to cosine square of x. And I can simplify more. I can bring 2 down to the front. It'll be 2 natural log cosine of x times sine of x minus natural log 1 minus x to the 4th times 2x. So yeah, for sure you're gonna have fundamental theorem in calculus.
That's how you.
Huh?
We need to simplify all of
No, if you simplify enough, I'll give you points already. If you did the fundamental theorem calculus part 2, I'm already gonna give you the points. If you can simplify, that's awesome. But just don't simplify it wrong. That's more scarier than anything. So sometimes you rather leave it like it's already done and don't oversimplify, because sometimes, like somebody told me this morning that they simplified like this. They simplify. That's the answer, right? Natural log of 1 minus sine square of x times cosine of x minus natural log of 1 minus x to the 4th times 2x. So, and some kid says, oh yeah, I can simplify by factoring out a natural log. No, because this is argument. You cannot factor out the natural log. That's argument. That's untouchable. You cannot factor out natural log. Some people did. I was like, you don't know your math. You gotta understand. The problem is, sincerely, I think I didn't think Ollie did a good job factoring, teaching the logarithm part.
And how come the natural logs stay as natural logs, even when you take the derivative?
What?
How come the natural logs don't change?
Natural log doesn't change because you take an integral, you take a derivative. You're assuming the function is natural log of 1 minus t squared is g of t. And you integrate g of t is going to be capital G of t. And you take a derivative after that, it's going to be non-capital G of t. But you had to worry about a chain rule, which is the boundaries. And if you look at your notes, it says that over there. Okay, so this is one of the question. There's another question. I can write it in terms of that's a velocity of 2x minus 3. And then you just find it, the total distance. That's a phenomenal question. There's another question I should write some. Now, this is some question that you never seen before. This is some question that you never seen before because I can ask you this. And again, you have to learn how to apply the ideas. Apply ideas is more important. Most of you guys, let's say some of you guys want to become a doctor. And if you want to study about heart, right? You want to be a cardiologist. You cannot just memorize everything about heart. You actually have to understand how heart works. And that's how you become a doctor. It's just not because you memorize everything that is in the book. You have to understand, well, high blood pressure is going to cause what? And low blood pressure is going to cause what? You have to understand if your sugar is high, sugar low, it's going to cause what effect to the heart. You have to understand that. So that's what I'm saying. I can write a question like this. You have to understand this. I say, okay, f of 4 is equal to 10. What is f of 0? This is the question. And I have this graph here. I say, hey, can you figure out what's f of 0?
3.
It's f of 4 is equal to 10. F prime of x is the graph. And f of 0 is equal to what? This is actual AP exam questions. Do you know how to apply? If people are smart, you can actually do it without pencil. That means there's not much calculation involved.
Is it 4?
Is that F0?
Ethan, why is it 4?
Because if you take the integral, if you take the area underneath, it's 6, and if f of 4 is 10, according to this, if c was 0, then it would be fixed. So 6 plus 4 equals 10. So it has to start at 4. That's a really bad way of explaining it, but
It is a pretty bad way to explain it. The answer is 4. But how did he get 4?
basically that's what it was.
Well, technically it's like that, but you think about it. If I have integration between 0 to 4, what am I going to get? 6, right? But what's the other side? It's f of 4 minus f of 0. I don't even need to deal with c. F of 4 is 10. F of 0 is x. If I solve for x, guess what? X equal to 10 minus 6 is 4. That's just a fundamental theorem calculus part 1. That's not even part 2. Part 1 says integration of between the boundary is f of b minus f of a. F of b is given. It's 10. F of b is unknown. But the integral under area of the integral of a function f prime of x is area on the curve. It was 6. It's area of triangle. Right? So I figure out, well, 6 equal to 10 minus x. X must be 4. So I can write any questions. You have to learn to adopt. It's not going to memorize a question. Most of you guys, I think this year student compared last year's student or compared to let's say Gage's year, Gage that year was really good. They don't memorize anything. They understand everything. That's why in the whole classroom, 60% of students got a 5. 60% have 5 because they understand how math works. And you guys try to memorize how each things work. Now, there's a fundamental difference between two. Is that okay? I can rewrite this question. So I like this question the most. This fundamental theorem part 2. This is area in a curve but absolute value. But everybody try to take an integral. Don't take integral. Count the area of triangles. Right? This just same question. And this is a little bit different, but idea is still the same.
What's the same? This one?
This one?
No.
The one? The one says A of t is
Oh,
equal to
Keep taking that.
4t minus 3, and b of 2 is equal to 3, and s of 1 is equal to 2. And that's basically saying f double prime is equal to 4t minus 3, f prime of 2 is equal to 3, f of 1 is equal to 2, find the f of x. It's the same question on the test. Same exact question. It's written different way. Does that make sense? You guys gotta make a connections between two things. You guys cannot just I'll memorize it. No. This is a lot of use substitution practice. I think somebody already posted online. You can check a WeChat. If it doesn't, you can take a picture of this. But what's up? WeChat. What's same thing? Same shit.
What is the second fundamental rule again?
Second fundamental theorem rule says the first one is integration between a to b of f of x is going to be capital F of b minus capital F of a. And that's what we did here, right? We take integration f prime becomes f of b minus f of a. But that's area under the curve. The second fundamental theorem says, hey, can you take a derivative of the integral? Well, if you take a derivative of the integral, you should go back to original function, except there's a twist. Because your upper bound is sine of x, there's a chain rule. So if you have g, capital G of sine of x minus capital G of whatever, then when you take a derivative, it's going to be non-capital G of sine of x times derivative of sine of x, which is cosine of x.
Okay. Let's see.
Riemann sum. On your homework, there's a question like this on your homework. I think on your homework says 1 over x between 0 to 5. And they ask you midpoint, they ask you right endpoint, they use left Riemann sum. So do you know how to break that to pieces and using proper things to do? Right? Do you know how to draw a table based on those information? Do you know how to use right Riemann sum for equal to point? Are they over or underestimate? I will ask you, are they over or under? You gotta tell me. Are they over? Right estimate, are they over? Why? If I ask you to justify, what are you supposed to say?
Because f of x is increasing.
It's increasing. Because if there's something going up, then your right endpoint is gonna be. It's gonna be over. Does that make sense?
Because the triangle, the rectangle is.
It's based on the right side. And the function is going up, your right side is higher than your left side. So you're gonna say f of x is increasing. Do you know how to do trapezoid rule with 2 sub-intervals? The only thing difference midpoint and the trapezoid, I will ask you 2 intervals. Why? Because midpoint can only use 2 in terms of there's a 4 number around or 5 number around. You can only use 2. And which 2 you gotta use?
Between 0 and 1 and 1 and 2.
It's gonna be 1 and 3 is a value. Oh no,
1 and 2.
sorry.
'Cause
No,
it would
it's
be-
1/2 and 3/2.
Yeah, 1/2 and 3/2 would be the midpoints.
Yeah. And trapezoid is also gonna use the same thing, but except you're gonna use trapezoid, but you're gonna use 0, 1, and 2.
And it
But you're
would
gonna use
be
trapezoid.
an overestimate because it's concave down.
Yep. No, concave up.
Concave up. I always forget which one is like which one to call down. To call up.
Right.
If you do the trapezoid one with 4 something like that.
I can change that to 4.
With this specific question.
I can. It doesn't really matter. I cannot do midpoint with the 4 though. It's not enough data to do 4 midpoints, but it's definitely enough data to do trapezoid. And you just had to write it out, everything. So if you have time to evaluate it, you have time to evaluate. If you don't have time to evaluate, you don't have time to evaluate. Okay, so I can ask you in terms of table too, like right. I can even use left with 3. Now that's gonna be kind of tricky, right? If I say left with 3, then guess what? It'll be 0 to 40, 40 to 80, 80 to 120. I use left will be 15, 18, and 22. I don't use 31 because, and the width is gonna be different. The width is gonna be 40 rather than 20. So you have to know that formula of b minus a over n, that's the width, right? Can you do all this? No problem? Okay. This is my favorite one is I can ask you the interval like this. It's called irregular intervals. Do you know how to do this?
Yeah.
It's on your homework. The irregular one, because each width are different. Some people is gonna do it like a regular one, and you'll be like, okay, mark it wrong. I don't even have to look. I just have to look at the interval is right or wrong. Right end, left end trapezoid is still the same thing, but each width are different. Each width is 4, the second one's 2, the third one's 3, the fourth one's 4. You had to count each different trapezoids, right? Good?
Yes.
This is not a hard part of the test, right? Okay. This is also another one that on the last test I really like is integration between 2 to 10 is 17. Integration to 5 to 92 is 5. What's integration from 10 to 5?
It's 12.
No,
Oh no, wait, negative.
it's not 22 either. You guys gotta write shit down. Because I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
It's negative 12.
No.
No. Okay.
You wrong 3 times in a row, Ethan. Because you don't write shit down. If you write shit down, then you know.
Negative 22.
Did you write shit down?
I did.
Okay, then that's the right answer. Because the question is 10 to 5, not 5 to 10. I trap you with different weights. You gotta understand, I'm a trickiest person. I can write a test question like,
Negative 22.
there's no math teacher in the Florida
Oh,
has more collection of different type of tests.
I understand.
Huh? Yeah, there's nobody. I'm a test junkie. Like my hard drive is filled with different tests. I download tests from like Canada, I download tests from Australia, I download tests from Europe, from China, from Japan. I download tests on all different language too.
The prime minister.
Prime Minister of Canada. He's good looking.
Wait, what? What does he look like?
Justin Trudeau.
That was the test.
I have man crush over him.
What about Brad Pitt?
Who?
Brad Pitt was Justin.
Brad Pitt? No. Justin Trudeau's a lot better. He can speak French and English at the same time. He can self-translate too.
He is not better looking than Brad Pitt.
You see.
This is just
No, you should listen to him speak.
This is just his man crush.
He's a good looking guy.
No, he's not.
I mean, it's like crush too.
That's Justin Trudeau. Yeah, that's how I.
No, he speak like fluently English, and then he can translate to French. Like he speak perfectly French.
Yeah, but he's Canadian.
Huh?
Yeah, I said yeah, but he's Canadian. That's the problem.
Canadian. Oh yeah. according to Corbyn.
Well, yeah, because they're nice. And that's like the opposite of what he stands for.
Actually, that's not true. Not all Canadian are nice.
I just hate
Majority of
Canadians and I hate
Latino
Australians.
Well, the Australians had their
Accents.
the Australians prime minister crapped himself in McDonald's. So
Oh,
How?
I didn't care about the prime minister. I just hate
Wait,
Australia.
what?
yeah,
The girl?
no,
I just do.
I don't know. The prime minister of Australia crapped himself in a McDonald's.
What does that even mean?
What does that mean? He shit on her
Yeah.
proof.
Wait, what does that mean?
Oh, yeah, you're pooping
He cannot make it to the bathroom?
I guess not.
McDonald's.
In a McDonald's, yeah.
Get the fuck on that shit. How?
Maybe he had diarrhea.
It's probably not us who get assassinated.
There's like a plaque, like a sign.
Here lies.
There's
Yeah.
what?
Spot.
That says like the Australian Prime Minister like swore himself here. or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, no, like it's like a
Wait, it's a girl?
No. It was a male, like,
Yeah.
Because I thought Australian Prime Minister is a girl.
no, that was Germany. Angela Merkel.
No, and Australia too.
Wait, you want this?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, totally.
it was Prime Minister Morrison.
Oh, is it?
right?
No, right now
I'll
it's
think about
Anthony
keeping my
Albanese.
quality
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it's New Zealand. It's because I heard news about they banned the assault rifle. Like she just completed sec. Next day she banned it.
It's probably New Zealand, right?
Yeah. It was
She
such a
banned?
badass move. Just like, yeah, we're banning it right now. We're
Bang.
not even gonna consider anything. We ban the assault rifle.
Australian Prime Minister Scott
Do you know
Morrison
AR?
broken his
That's
son
New
and
Zealand.
insisted rumor that he's loyal to
No,
the
AR stands for
It's a company.
They make one
I'm not even kidding.
AI, artificial
Okay, so do you know how to do all those integrals? The hardest one's number 7,
Well, then I'm gonna do number 2.
and number 1 is pretty hard too. But you had to change your boundaries.
Oh yeah, I can see why number 1 would be hard.
Number 1 we did a couple times. I assigned as a homework. One's not very difficult.
1 over 2.
Two
Mr.
root.
A, have you made the test yet?
No. But it doesn't take me long.
When are you gonna make it?
I don't know, probably lunchtime. I'm hungry though.
What's in Canadian? Swiss? Why do you hate Swiss?
Is it Sweden?
You look tired.
Is it Switzerland? Yeah, Switzerland is the Pacific.
Just trying to stab you, obviously.
Why? Ming, why are you wearing Christmas light?
Elaine.
Santa Claus. What?
I took it from my
You know,
my friend.
anything with her as well. Exactly.
And also it's like a spirit day. Where's your Christmas hat?
This man don't like
I'm-
Christmas.
I'm anti-Christmas.
Since when does Mr. A seem like he would participate in spirit?
Literally the Grinch. Did you ever fix your
I'm
computer?
more than a Grinch, according.
If you fix, if I fix your computer, can you bump me up to
I don't do
60?
Christmas.
No.
Please, bro.
You didn't do shit all year.
That's not true. I just,
Oh, you had 6.
no, no.
Bump up to wait. If you bump up to a 60, what do you have? We never know, man. You're not. Come on,
She
bro.
failed a couple tests and she didn't do a couple homework.
Bro, Mr. Yeti, why would you give me 7 years homework? I wasted the homework. Like, actually.
This is not.
Oh.
You
Oh.
idiot.
Like 2 more homework grades.
No, thank you. Crap.
Mr. Yeti, my homework grades
Yeah,
should
Amir sent me a message
Bro,
yesterday.
yeah, he's telling me all of these. But probably the only one that has an A right now is probably Shelly. Like, I'm being straight up. I should add like 2 homework grades.
You should put my homework
What?
grade
He's
up.
an
Yeah.
idiot.
I am in desperate need of a grade bump.
Bump me up to a 7.
Look at it. I'm 2% away from a C on my. Like, last
Same
year I
here,
had a
bro.
B.
Same here, bro.
I tried to tell you, get your shit together, but you don't.
Be a 10.
Oh my god, Mr. Yeti.
You always say trust.
That's not true. I say I'm
Trust, I got you next test. I know like 43. It's like, it's like I can't really trust that.
I really just.
So many smiley faces. from me.
But yeah,
That's probably true.
but yeah, I swear.
I'll give you that.
Are you ever
No, BC, I'm gonna be generous.
At least an 80 on
AB, no.
I be
at
doing
least
my
an
homework.
80 on my
AB don't deserve.
I do all my homework, bro.
You never show up to school.
I do my homework. I watch the stream.
I don't even know if you do your homework if you don't show up to school.
Oh, I'm like sick for
Well, like on the days that I'll have missing days, I'll show you the previous homeworks on the day I'm there.
It's silent,
That's
guys.
what I'm aiming.
No, BC, I'm
Yeah, we should start doing versus will side.
no BC student work. They work harder than you guys.
No, like, it's no, it's not Tony. It's
Bro.
Anthony was calling you guys stupid.
He called me fucking stupid. Because that's like,
Mr. Yang.
I'm being so stupid. He's like, yeah, you are.
He's very sassy this year.
Mr. Yang. If we were
I kind of don't like that version of him, but I kind of like it.
It's because he's more open, but he's also.
Avid is, do you see Anthony change this year a lot? No? You know him since what? You know him since what? Wow.
Each other before.
Damn, I didn't know nobody's. Except for my cousin.
I knew man, so
Oh, gee, whiz, I was thinking about Mr. Ellis.
I got Ryan.
Mr. Yang, please, I just need 2%.
I already.
you went to the DP1. Bro, I used to go back
I
to
tried to
game all the
call
time.
you.
have you spoiled that?
I help you in the first quarter, but I'm not helping you in the second quarter.
Yeah, rank league go crazy. Nah, bro, me and Austin, we used to go there like every single day, bro. Bro, those sports friends, I gotta go back. But I remember like all the varsity players from DP, they used to always like play there too.
I'm gonna put tomorrow, Mr. Yeah.
That's heavy.
Did you finish all of them?
I finished the first one, and then I'm on the one. I'm almost basically. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And it's not even Thursday yet.
I'm about to, bro, I gotta lock in for the set.
You hold my head into 103, so like, in grades, like,
I did not do that.
Maybe it's based on
Ooh, if you can't do the rhythms and intervals,
We gotta run back to the study
then that's on you, bro.
or no freestyle.
for average grade boost, negative 20%.
Don't even
She's gonna be like, trust. I got this. And next day it'll be like,
No, like actually though, like if I can't drive, like
don't kill yourself.
no, I will. Tomorrow, if I don't get an N, this is like kill myself. I swear to God. Like actually, it'll be my last year on Earth. Am I allowed to say that?
No.